Awaken Beauties, finally, it's here. The truth to empower women to true inner beauty through a healthy mind and inner biology. I am your hostess, Cassandra Keogh, a 20-year salon owner, organic beauty product formulator, positive mind management, and clinical hypnotherapist. And I am here to help you stay sane, get sleep, and bring your sexy back. Sponsored by evoquebeauty.com. evoquebeauty.com. Now, let's get to it. Welcome to the Awaken Beauty Podcast. I am Cassandra, your organic beauty, positive mind management, and endocannabinoid mentor. Now, at Evoke Beauty, we talk a lot about the benefits of CBD, in which is called cannabidiol. And I have dozens of pages of educational material and product information all related to CBD. And while most of you are familiar with what CBD can do, most don't give much thought to the 114 plus actually, other compounds found in hemp. Now, when I first came to the discovery of hemp and cannabis, I really started to explore the scientific studies. I started to call every single manufacturer and formulator out there until I found the absolute match as to who I really wanted to be aligned with on elite ways of not only extracting cannabis, but the quality of cannabis being certified organic, and how we really measure a CBD and or a cannabidiol product to really benefit all different physiological states and diseases that are going on with this modern epidemic of stress, autoimmune disorders, different gut issues, anxiety, depression, and the opiate epidemic. So as I opened up this beautiful exploration of all these incredible benefits in this one profound plant, I couldn't help but to see the long game and understand that this is more than just CBD. This is more than just THC. There is this whole playground, if you may, of all these different cannabinoids that we can use together symbiotically with different terpenes in a formula that brings our body such bliss, meaning helping our endocannabinoid system and turning on our anandamide, which is our bliss molecule that turns on our happy serotonin and happy neurotransmitters. So today we want to, review a little bit about CBD, but one of these lesser known compounds in cannabidiol in the hemp plant is cannabinol, which is short for CBN. Now, I've been really intrigued about CBN for quite some time, and we do have it in our multi-cannabinoid CBD products. But to use it as a high percentage, it's extremely expensive to do, but it is incredibly beneficial for many reasons. So that's what we're going to dig into today. So it's vastly understudied since both THC and CBD have taken center stage when it comes to research and media coverage and all the legalities surrounding cannabis industry. And it is true that they are the two compounds with the most significant presence with cannabis plants. But CBN boasts quite a few natural health benefits, much the same as CBD and as THC do. However, there are some substantial differences between this cannabinoid and its relatives, which are important to be aware of. But in this article, as I already mentioned, we really want to take this in-depth look at CBD and CBN. So we're also going to go over the fundamental similarities and the differences between the two. So this should really help clear up any kind of misconception and hopefully leave you a little bit more inspired about the hemp plant and leave you better informed about this more obscure member of the hemp family. So for a review, hang in with me. What is CBD? So, short for cannabidiol, CBD is this natural compound found within both hemp and marijuana species of cannabis. So, remember, we have cannabis as the mother plant, and from this, we get these different strains of marijuana and hemp. So, all of the legally obtained CBD in the US is sourced from industrial hemp, not the marijuana plant. And although marijuana plants do not contain, they actually contain some CBD, the amount that the marijuana plant comparatively to the hemp plant in its CBD percentage is much, much lower. And this is why we tend to, and why it's legally that we obtain CBD from the hemp plant. So as noted, CBD is sourced from hemp, and it's also legally at the federal level with the 2018 Farm Act, which states that industrial hemp only must have no more than 3% THC content to be used in CBD products. Now, where did we get this 3% number? And to be honest with you, it's an obscure number they came up with, and they said no more than 3%. So the industry ran with it. We are following the laws, and there you have it. Now, cannabis is turning out to be an incredibly versatile plant, and we can see that on the market. We see people getting, especially women, getting benefits from it every day, from sleep to anxiety to pain. And it's really showing this real potential for preventative and long-term use in the wellness industry. So there's over 100 similar compounds found in hemp, many of which have not yet been studied. And of these, CBD and THC are the most well known, as we've already reviewed. But what about this other cannabinoid called CBN? It is said to have very similar effects on some conditions, but CBN is more closely related to actually THC. And in fact, cannabinol is made when THC is either heated or exposed to oxygen. So this means that you can turn THC into CBN by either leaving it out, leaving it sit for some time, or by heating it carefully in your oven or at a low temperature. So it's really unique is that we have kind of like, what we really call them scientifically is these acid cannabinoids. And they start as the acid form, and through this transition of either being heated or aged, they turn into CBN, CBG, CBDG, and all of these other different cannabinoids. And that's what's so beautiful about it, and how we can control the plant and what we turn them into through carboxylation. So when you think about it, it's kind of amazing how something like cannabinol, CBN, can be born from something like THC through basic oxidation, yet has many different effects in its end formed. And while it is up for debate just how psychotropic CBN is, it can be concluded that it is nowhere near the same level as THC, in which why it can be sold on the market today. So it is becoming more apparent through research that CBN has, to me, this is why I love this part of this certain compound, is that it has incredible sedative effects. And so studies have found that CBN could potentially be as potent of a sleep agent as some of the stronger pharmaceuticals on the market. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had a mother that got me addicted to Tylenol PM when I was in high school. I didn't grow up with the most calm household with rambunctious brothers. And so we would just go ahead and take those 2 Tylenol PM, pop them in, and make sure that we got sleep at night. And so as I grew up to be a young woman in hormonal dysregulation, I have found these perfect concoctions between GABA and magnesium and now CBD, and a little bit of an unnatural sleep aid. But I'm formulating a high CBN product right now, and I am so excited about it because I don't want the THC in it. And so for this to be as potent as a pharmaceutical, I am ecstatic that we can bring this into the market, because 50% of women have sleep issues, and somewhere near 70% are using some kind of sleep aid. So as little as maybe 2.5 milligrams of CBN can be just as effective as a mild to moderate sedative like Valium and, yes, Ambien, that are purchased for those that suffer from sleep related issues. So God bless you. Bring it on. I cannot wait for this to become more prevalent in the market with research. So on top of sleep inducing effects, CBN also appears to have many health benefits similar to those found in CBD and THC. So CBD versus CBN, what are the key similarities? So CBD and CBN are both come from the same plant family, and science shows that both may have effectiveness for a variety of health conditions. A few of the common health conditions that cannabis compounds help with, and if we look at this large umbrella of cannabinoids, we know that they help treat, and yes, I'm going to say treat, epilepsy. I've seen it. I've seen a 6-year-old go from 14 seizures a day down to 2 with our nano CBD. It also helps with anxiety, nausea, insomnia, pain, inflammation. They also have been proven to have antibacterial and neuroprotective properties as well. So if we think about this epidemic with memory loss and Alzheimer's, it is a great preventative measure to use for neuroregenerative properties. So the amount of scientific data available for CBN is limited as scientists are just starting to begin to study it more thoroughly with the medical applications. But having said this, it is speculated that THC, CBN, and CBD may work better together for specific health ailments rather than being isolated on their own. So that's another thing to consider, is how can we bring these into a more entourage effect? And this entourage effect has been proven, especially by Dr. Sulak in the industry and many others, that this entourage effect, time and time again, studied from full plant extractions and utilizing this different synergies with terpenes, give it a more heightened, durable, consistent effect with products. Now, make sure that this is very different than just a hemp extract, full spectrum, thrown into a bunch of MCT oil, because this is the problem I see in the industry, is just a bunch of people that want to get into the industry, make money, they private label and they dilute the oil, they get a high milligram count, they sell it for cheaper, and you think you have an elite product, but really you don't. And how do you know? Well, you can look at a COA and you can see the percentage of active cannabinoids. You can still get an active cannabinoid read on that label or in a COA. Then, most of the time, consistency is going to be found in these formulators that are bringing back and reterpening the product and bringing back all these elements at consistent elevated amounts for bioavailability. And so the product is made to work, and you're not going to have all these variable effects or side effects at that. So as more research is conducted on CBN and cannabis in general, we will likely learn far more about these different compounds within the cannabis sativa plants and have a better idea of just how closely interlinked they are and how they work together and separately. So what's the difference between CBD and CBN? So often when you hear about cannabis compounds in the news, like we've already said, THC is CBD and CBN, but although CBD and CBN come from the same plant group, that doesn't necessarily mean that they say have the same effects and chemical makeup. So CBN starts as a completely different compound. Just to review, it is actually happens after the THC is heated and or exposed to air. So review again, the difference is that the oxidization process helps to remove a lot of that psychotropic effect of the THC, leaving it as a mild, relaxing, sedative compound. And because CBN is a degraded version of THC, it's best harvested from dry marijuana plants as opposed to fresh marijuana plants. So the reason for this is that when industrial hemp plants have less than 3% THC yield, which isn't enough when you're trying to extract any amount of it, the marijuana plants, on the other hand, have a THC yield of up to 30%, which is more than enough to use for extracting CBN. Another main difference between CBD and CBN is that CBD doesn't have any sedative effects. Now, it does relax you. It absolutely relax you. I feel it. I know a lot of my clients take our CBD and CBG 1000 for sleep and many of our other CBD products, but generally they're not sedating. So CBN, on the other hand, is providing an excellent sedative property. So cannabis experts believe that CBN may be a big part of the reason that many people feel, let's just say, glued to the couch after smoking an indica strain of marijuana because of these sedating effects on the user. So the final difference worth mentioning between these two compounds of CBD and CBN has no psychedelic effects whatsoever. So CBN, however, meaning CBD. Now, CBN has thought to have those mild psychotropic effects because it's directed to break down from the THC component. So tweaks, nuances, there really shouldn't be any fear of taking CBN. I mean, CBD is this incredible promiscuous cannabinoid that, basically blocks those enzymes that want to eat up our own endocannabinoids. So it really flushes the system for anti-inflammatory, for calming effects, and to really help those neurotransmitters efficiently run and for the body to come back into balance. Now, CBN is going to have many of those same similar properties, but again, it's just going to give you a little bit titch of a calm down sedative effect, but nothing to fear as far as getting high. So in overview and in closing, CBD and CBN share the fantastic ability to help people live better and healthier lives, but they do so in very different ways with extreme potential as we move into advanced studies. And we have only reached the tip of the iceberg when it comes to researching these two compounds, which makes me incredibly excited to be a part of this industry. And as more studies are conducted, it is likely we will discover even more benefits about the wealth of cannabinoids in general and in cannabis, and CBN and CBG and CBDA in its acid forms and how those can be utilized and not decarboxylated. There's all of these incredible effects. So, for that, I am thankful. I am thankful for you listening to the Awaken Beauty podcast. I am committed to always being the most elite in the way we think about the plant, how we respect the plant. And really, we have to remember that this incredible plant has its own DNA. And we've been extracting from plant medicine because they tell a story, and they tell a story to our body. And that is because they are kind of interweave with our DNA, which they're similar to our DNA. And that's why they're so healing. That's why they're so replenishing to our neurotransmitter system, our endocannabinoid system, which is the number one regulator in our entire body. So it is pivotal that you are buying quality product that's organic, that is thoughtfully put together, and not just slapped with a bunch of MCT oil or another carrier oil, because that really is just a diluted brand. And really at Evoke, we're committed to extractions and formulas that are tested on real people and real labs, GMP, ISO certified, and have validated science between, the minute they go into the PhD's hands, into the consumer's hands, into my formulator's hands, and then to the consumer's hands, and that means you. So if you have any questions about cannabidiol, CBN, THC, or how you can make sure that you have the best of the best product and how to dose, just reach out to me. And if you're looking for quality CBD, go to evoquebeauty.com, EVOQbeauty.com, and you can get 25% off your first purchase when you go to the website and put in the code AWAKEN. All right, ladies and gents, that's it for now. So in the meantime, make sure that you go and like and subscribe to any favorite podcast avenue that you like to listen, and ping us a 5-star. I'd really greatly appreciate it. Make us more easily to be available to others to find the Awaken Beauty podcast and all this incredible information about the new comings of cannabis. So until next time, stay sane, get sleep, and bring your sexy back. Well, hello, Awaken Beauty. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Were you inspired? Please leave a comment or your own personal aha moment so others can capture exactly what you did. Also, please like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're interested in high quality natural products for your hair, skin, and wellness, including organic CBD, please visit evoquebeauty.com. Again, that is evoquebeauty.com, evoquebeauty.com. And until next time, darling, stay sane, get sleep, and bring your sexy back.